This is the Rocket Bird. The arts are a profoundly personal experience, and you might reasonably assume that great art comes from a place of deep emotion and vulnerability. But I think you're wrong. What if emotions were more harm than good? What if they were what's actually keeping you from making great art? Let me state my case with a few authoritative voices. In an interview, Radiohead's frontman and singer Thom Yorke was asked if he ever had to scrap a take in studio because he got too emotional. He answered, quote, "I have to be careful because the rule is if you are moved singing a song, the result is usually shit. And it's a cruel irony. If you want to sing well and move an audience, you have to be detached and cool yourself." End quote. This is the first point I want to make. Emotions disturb execution. I feel this is clearer for performative arts like singing and dancing and playing music, but it pertains to figurative arts as well, and writing, and everything that is meant to provoke emotion in other people. My usual drawing experience has always been waiting for inspiration and then sitting down and blasting my favorite music, thinking of something else, of personal issues, sinking into my emotions and spacing out. And indeed, as Thom says, the more moved I am, the less I am focusing on actually conveying that feeling on paper. The more spaced out I am, the worse my drawing gets. I have the feeling I've not convinced you yet. You want to get up close and personal with someone actually involved in the craft of drawing. Well, here he is. In his 18 tips for drawing, the legendary French artist Moebius puts this as the first tip, quote, "When you draw, you must first cleanse yourself of deep feelings like hate, happiness, ambition." End quote. What does he mean with this? His words are quite obscure. All of it is quite obscure. You can find the rest of the interview linked down in the doobly-doo. But I think I get it. He's right. We talked about execution here, but there's something deeper. What I consider to be the greatest enemies of artists. Ego and shame. Have you ever sat down to draw, to play the piano, to record a video, and something was off? A little creeping voice in your head. Hypercritical of your performance, hyper-aware of the fact that you are pathetically attempting to be good at something, while outside there are thousands, maybe even millions of people that do it better than you, that have done it for way longer than you have. People with actual skill, people with real talent. I have been drawing for more than 25 years and, yeah, I am familiar with that creeping voice. I know that artists tend to be emotional people, and they tie their self-worth with the quality of their work. But this creates an explosive mix, opening the door for feelings to come in, for that tyrannical, self-judgmental voice to completely destroy your process. So you leave the table. Today is not a good day. I am not inspired. All the faces I'm drawing are off. This dialogue I'm writing is cheesy. Today is not a good day. It hasn't been for months now. Hate, happiness, ambition, he says. Having to depend on those emotions for actually getting down to do the work, to practice your craft, to push your limits. This is how artistic dreams die. So what? Am I proposing that you drown out at your desk, an empty shell of a person, and you execute art like a lifeless machine? Not quite. In fact, this video sprang out of a quiet realization I had recently, a eureka moment, if you will. At the start of the year, I found myself burned out from art. I was working on a deeply personal story that was making me question everything, my abilities as an artist, as a storyteller, as a person. What I needed was a diversion. So I stopped all my current projects and started a short comic book, a piece of fan art on the side to draw something different for a change. It was challenging but stimulating. Extensive, yes, but not too long. It required me to do a variety of tasks, from sketching the design of the characters to doing storyboards and then actually draw the pages. Some weeks passed. The comic was finally finished, and it was at that time that it hit me. I had gone through weeks of artistic practice that was regular, daily, uneventful, and quite productive, without going crazy. I didn't ask myself each day, what is it that I'm going to draw? That's easy, you have the comic book to finish. I wasn't agonizing over things like, is this the right style? Is this the style I want to be known for? Is it actually good? It's a silly action comedy piece, I'm sure it's gonna be alright. If I had a bad day, no worries. I will try drawing this panel tomorrow and try doing something else instead today. The worst times? They were actually when I cheered myself too much for a particularly good page. The more you rise up, the harder you're going to fall, the harder you will be on yourself when your next piece is coming out like crap. Hate, happiness, ambition. I took them out, I took the pressure off of myself for once. And I didn't sit down to draw because I was confident or brilliant, inspired or talented or a genius. I sat down to draw because it's simply what I do. After work, I went home, had a snack, sat down and drew. In the weekend, mornings were for drawing. I woke up one day and I realized that I'd been more creative and productive than ever. And it all happened quietly, unceremoniously, naturally. So, this is my advice to you. To make it simply the thing that you do. Independent of your mood, of your inspiration. Sit down and cleanse yourself of feelings. You know you have it in you to make great art. You've done it in the past. And you know you have it in you to do ugly art. You've also done it in the past. So why are you surprised of any of those two outcomes? Let judgments behind and embrace a state of flow. When drawing is as part of your routine as having breakfast, it will be normalized, protected from the violent emotions that make you unproductive, nervous and fragile. I am very curious to know your opinion on this matter. It's the reason I'm making this whole channel, to discuss with fellow artists. Yes, you, oh general public, you or artists who are listening to this while washing dishes or hopefully while drawing. What is your emotional state while making art? And that's it. This is the video. This is the realization that prompted me to do some research about emotions and art, hence why the two examples I quoted at the start, two among many others that I found. I leave you with a final one. What do you think of this, Mr. Hitchcock?
Mr. Hitchcock, what is your definition of happiness?
A clear horizon, nothing to worry about on your plate, only things that are creative and not destructive. I can't bear quarreling, I can't bear feelings between people. I think hatred is wasted energy and it's all non-productive. I know we're only human, we do go in for these various emotions, call them negative emotions. But when all these are removed and you can look forward and the road is clear ahead and now you're going to create something, I think that's as happy as I would ever want to be.